If people are dieting now more than ever before, then why are nearly 1 in 3 American adults overweight? Dr. Gundry, who's helped thousands lose weight and feel younger and healthier than ever, says most people are not getting enough fat-burning MCTs from their food. MCTs are a special kind of compound that instead of turning into fat when you consume it, turns into ketones, which is a chemical that breaks down the excess fat in your body. So, by getting more MCTs in your diet, you essentially flip a switch that puts your body in caloric bypass mode, which can flush out excess fat and calories. And he's created an easy way for you to activate caloric bypass right at home. It's called MCT Wellness. This powerful blend of fat-flushing MCT powders and antioxidant-rich polyphenols is designed to help you unlock your body's fat-burning, energy-producing potential. What's even better is that it's a delicious drink. I love how incredible it tastes. All you do is add a scoop to water, enjoy, and watch as you start feeling slimmer and more energized. So, if you want to experience a quick, easy, and effective way to melt pounds fast, go to GundryMD.com/energy and order right now to get up to 53% off your regular price order with a 90-day money-back guarantee. Again, that's GUNDRYMD.com/energy.
Back to school savings are officially in session at Tanger Outlets. Shop the latest school styles with an extra 25% off during Tanger Style, our biggest sale of the season, now through August 25th. Plan your trip at Tanger.com.
Let her rip. I'll turn my mic down.
You can join in if you want.
Well, no, I'll turn it down and I'll just jump in like a random voice at some point. So I'll just keep it down for now.
Okay.
I'll let you get your business done, and then I'll jump all over your business.
And then what I will
podcast business.
All right, that's got to be the cold open right there. I'll just jump all over your business.
Jump all over your business. That's what I do best.
Okay, I'm dying now.
The following podcast may contain discussions supported by science that may be considered dangerous to some listeners and conspiracy theorists. Discretion is advised.
The 3 Down Greencast is brought to you by the Pile of Bones Brewing Company. Home delivery available in Regina at sassbeerdelivery.ca. Welcome to the 3 Down Greencast. You are listening to the internet's only NHL Free Agent Frenzy free podcast. I'm Joel Gasson with John Fraser as usual. As yes, we will not be discussing any NHL free agent talk on this podcast today, as we are recording on Wednesday, July 28th. And apparently NHL free agency opened up, a bunch of money was spent, a lot of dumb stuff happened.
So stupid. I love it.
But we're not getting into all that. But what NHL free agents frenzy leads to, and plenty of other free agent talk usually leads to, is a lot of really bad takes. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get into some takes in this episode, as I'm going to steal a game from one of my favorite podcasts, the Split Zone Duo, where we're going to basically, inspired by a couple of restaurants in this province, decide whether takes are hot or cold about every team in the CFL, plus a little extra on top of that, basically just to kind of preview the season ahead. We're doing it a week early because if we did it next week, it would basically be a season preview before you would have like 5 hours to listen to it before the first game. So that would not be...
And
with be a little rushed. Would be a little rushed.
With how wrong and how bad my takes are certain to be.
Mm-hmm.
We got to give people time to digest it before I'm like proven wrong yet again, or before the Fraser curse strikes somebody else's Achilles.
Yes, absolutely.
Should I just not name any players if I can this? Because I feel like if I
mean, you don't know half the players in the league right now anyway, so I mean.
You are not wrong. Not wrong at all, Joel Gasson, on that one. But remember, I do this now like a professional. I have a desk. I have a slidey out thing for my drinks. I have rosters up. I'm a real boy now. And I'm way more sober than I usually am because of the whole Baby Watch 2021 still being a thing.
Yes. So we're going to talk about all that. We do have a special guest that will be joining us in a little bit to share his thoughts on that as well, as we thought it'd be something that would be better with another voice added to the array just in case. But
it's okay if it's in a three-way. I mean,
yes.
Little Lonely Island? Yes.
Yes. That is, of course, one of CBC and many other previous employers. The one, Dan Plaster. Dan, how's it going?
So many employers from across Western Canada.
We got to break into Eastern Canada one of these days.
I would love to. That'd be so awesome. I just don't know who would want me anymore. I'm old. I'm grumpy. I like John and I get like this is just so like this is the green. Is this like the Grumpcast? This is the Grumpcast, right?
I mean, I'm apparently the happy one around here, which is saying something.
Yeah,
That's a crazy thing about all the 3 down pocket. Everybody's so positive. Like it's so gross.
and then there's
Hodge and Dunk. It's just like, oh God, guys, you're amazing, but like just be angry. It's fun. Embrace it.
and I can warn you both.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a day at work.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you said you had a date. Oh, where is this going already?
You probably shouldn't be saying that out loud. Lacey might hear that.
Right. Talking about my pregnant wife who's upstairs putting my 2 kids to bed. Yeah, guys, I have a date. Oh no, it was a day that basically I was thinking about drinking something at like 2:00 as opposed to like 3:00 like I normally do.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there was a possibility we may have done this show with just Mr. Plaster. But then, of course, Lacey still has not gone into labor. And I also felt if John wasn't here, Dan and I would just spend the entire episode talking about college football realignment. And most of you probably don't want to hear that. So
that's. I mean, in fairness, we also spent like 5 to 10 minutes talking about my equipment last week. So, you know, we're starting to trim down the niche. So we are no longer a John's Equipment podcast.
No. But before we get into everything, we are going to open with a little bit of a take. Well, not really with a little bit of a take. It was inspired by a tweet I saw yesterday or whenever on the old tweet machine that asked, basically, what was your worst sports take ever? and I quote tweeted that saying, well, John's going to have to think about this one for a while.
Nope. This is right on board. And I hope Dan Plaster's heard this one before because I'm waiting for the giggles to come out because I've had some terrible Fraser takes. I wish I could tweak some of my takes before. But the one that will always take the cake is the time that I thought Johnny Manziel was going to lead the Hamilton Tiger Cats to the Grey Cup and start and possibly win the Grey Cup game. And that was like from real early on. That was from season 1 of this pod. And out of all the dumb shit I've ever said in the episodes that preceded and have proceeded, that is by far the worst take I've ever had. And I stand by it. I thought it was good, and it's now just become a running joke. That and the Fraser curse.
The good news for you is you're kind of not alone in that one. Spencer Hall of the Shutdown Full Cast replied to that one, and he thought Johnny Manziel was actually going to be a really good NFLer. So
there's that.
Yeah.
But non-Johnny Manziel tweets aside, I would say whatever take
I don't even necessarily have to be something that you put out there publicly, even if it's something you said to your buddies at some point in time or something.
Right, but I do think that the other worst one is whatever cursed the Riders' Achilles to all simultaneously explode that one day, because there's no way that's not a Fraser curse right there.
No, I mean, we praised the defense for like the week before nonstop, so.
Oh, yeah. I see what you did. You spoke it into existence.
He did,
I did. And just like we rode the reverse, I rode the reverse Fraser curse to the Bombers winning the Grey Cup last year by picking against them as I could. This one was just straight up bad Fraser curse. So Joel, you are a man who is not without sin, but not as much sin as I. What's yours?
There's probably a few from my past. Most recently, I was one of those guys who thought Vladdy Guerrero Jr. was overrated, even though he was very young. I was definitely one of those guys. Back in the earlier days of the Ottawa Senators, when there was the alleged choice, though I've since learned there wasn't really a choice, some things happened, but anyway, between whether they should sign Wade Redden or Zdeno Chara, I was a Wade Redden guy, just because I thought, the way the game was moving, puck movement, etc., He would have been better long term, and then his career just completely fell apart, and Zdeno Chara is still playing. So yeah, and at one point or another, I probably was very happy that the Ottawa Senators were purchased by Eugene Melnyk.
That's a juicy.
I mean, at the time,
all of it.
That might be worse than Manziel.
It is.
I mean, no one knew at the time what an asshole he was. So I mean,
cheap asshole. Don't forget the word cheap. Plaster. Now you've had some time to think. What's yours? A man that has basically worked in every market in Western Canada.
My bad takes go all the way back into the early 90s when I thought a man named Doug Brewster from the Clemson Tigers was going to be the Riders' starting linebacker after Eddie Lowe retired. And Blake Marshall ended his career by running him over in preseason.
Wow.
So basically, there was the Plaster curse, and then it turned into the Fraser curse, is what we're learning.
Oh, it's just kind of like it's like the first day we met, Dan Plaster. You passed the curse giving abilities to me. So,
John, we go back to Saskatoon and training camps and all that stuff. You're the only reporter that was not afraid of me.
Really?
Everybody, I don't I think I'm nice. I'm grumpy, kind of a frown, but you're like the only guy that just doesn't run away in fear. And Joel's
I mean,
here.
he's talking about the Saskatoon guys, obviously, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter if I was at Global or with the Riders or with the Pats. You were just like, hey, but everybody else is just like, holy cow. I'm like, I smell. I know I smell, but I mean,
it's usually hot down there.
It is hot down there. I need where do you hide your chip nuts there? What's
Equipmunk?
Yes, those two.
You hide them in your Equipmunk. So
Equipmunk. Okay.
Yes, yeah. So you hide them in your Equipmunk, and no, I was. I think by the time that you and I had really started talking, I had already realized how bitter I was at the business, and that's why we got along so well. Because I think the first year of Rider Camp, I had just been I think I had been told that despite the fact that I put in all the legwork to get the Husky broadcast, that I was not going to be there. Now, this is no slam on Dave Thomas. Dave Thomas is an incredible play-by-play man and deserved the job. But it's you put in all the work and they're like, yeah, nah, fuck you. You're not doing the game. So you can do sidelines. So by that point, I was like, this business sucks. I hate them. Hate everything. Oh, Dan is also angry. Let's hang out. Let's be friends.
Just anger. I love it.
Always. Yeah. That's one of John's top qualities. It's probably not the word I'm looking for.
Just say, may the path you take be lit by the bridges you burn.
Oh, there's been some bridges burned on this podcast, that's for sure.
Oh, God, there's been some bridges burned just about through my whole career. I think all you see behind me is me in my Toyota shirt and flaming wreckage of a broadcasting career gone sour.
And it's always better when you end it.
Oh. See,
yes.
Not only did I end it, I was smart enough that I told enough people around the station the real reasons I was leaving, but said, don't bring this up until I'm past my probation at Honda, because that's where I went to. And they all did. And still to this day, I will make comments on social media and get texts oh, you pissed somebody off today. And I'm like, yes,
still this province.
I am in their minds, Dan Plaster, which is
living rent free, as the kids say.
Oh, I am certainly rent free in some of the higher ups at Saskatoon Media Group, and which is why I now just do this with Joel and you today.
Smooth transition time. A bridge we don't hope to burn is, of course, our friends at Manscaped.
Oh, so good, Gas. Yes. And we will keep this below 5 minutes of talking about my Equipmunk, mostly for Jacques Chartier. You are welcome, my friend. The Olympics, Euros, baseball, major championships, the return of the CFL are all in this summer. You know what isn't? A wild and hairy bush, Joel Gasson. Tame your pubes from our help. I haven't done many ad reads in a while. Basically, Manscaped wants you to tame your pubes, and they are our friends. They're the leaders in below-the-waist grooming. Their fourth-generation performance package includes the brand-new Lawnmower 4.0. If an athlete treats their body like royalty, why not treat your pubes like Olympic gold? Fellas, do right by your balls and join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to the website and use the code FANSIDED20. So just throw in a little Google. I did want to talk about some of the other things it comes with to treat your equipment. Their liquid formulations, the crop preserver ball deodorant. So when we're talking about those sweaty days at training camp, if you ever have to cover them again, make sure you get
Hopefully
some
not.
of this. Yeah. And crop reviver ball toner. So they it feels good on the equipment when you put it on there, makes it smell good. So don't forget, 20% off, free shipping with the code FANSIDED20 at manscaped.com. 20% off and free shipping with the code FANSIDED20 at manscaped.com. Achieve pubic glory this year with Manscaped.
It has a light on the razor.
I know.
I love how you Googled this while we were doing this because I did not send
How
you
could
any
you tell?
notes.
I was just like furiously looking at this, and I'm like, this looks. So I can do this in the dark, which is
Yes!
the best time to do it.
It is. See, for me, it's Thursday mornings when I work a late shift and my wife and kids are out of the house.
Boredom takes you to strange places.
It does. It does. And wanting to be privacy, but that's right. The light on these things,
Yeah, it's incredible. Just buy it for the light. It's great.
you're clear for takeoff. Now that would be great. I could see now an emergency situation. A tornado is ripping through Saskatoon. I must run to the basement. I must find a flashlight. My phone is dead. And out comes my lawnmower 4.0. And you know where it's been, but it's got a flashlight, so it's also survival gear. That's how they should brand it.
Yeah, that sounds great. You just make a camo one, put the little like a really bright light on it, and a bunch of people would buy it.
It's funny, actually. My Instagram ads are all, as I've been,
Talking very
researching-
loudly about Manscaped, yeah.
talking loudly about Manscaped and talking about having the baby and ordering strollers and new car seats and yada, yada, yada. This really hilarious thing came up. It was like a tactical like diaper bag for men. It was basically a diaper bag that was camoed and Air Forced out.
Hell yeah.
And I don't know how insecure you have to be to have a tactical diaper. And it was like stupidly, I want to say this thing
Are there
was
like hidden compartments in it? That'd be
With
incredible.
like the Velcro places where you could put your combat where you've served.
Right? You absolutely could. I even think you could get tactical diaper bag. There we go. I even think you could get it. Yeah. Tactical baby gear, military style diaper bags. On Amazon, you can get ones that look like you might actually have been in a war for like $100. Wow. Well, no, this is actually a whole thing. Tactical baby gear.
What a time to be
TBG. There's and look, yeah, so you got the Velcro things, Plaster, and it says like daddy or mommy on the Velcro. On the tactical diaper bag, it is a bestseller. It comes with a matching like cradle thing. It's all like military green. The Deuce 2.0 tactical diaper bag.
Deuce?
$270 American.
Deuce.
The Deuce. Yeah, these things are like this is. Oh, you can even get it in camo, black camo,
So,
navy
like,
camo.
You can get a patch with a skull, and instead of the two bones, it's like a rattle and a bottle, and behind it.
Well, it's funny because it looks like it comes with two patches that say daddy and mommy, but there is room for more patches. So you could like whatever you wanted for your tactical diaper bag for your $150 US.
Whoa, oh my God, $200 Canadian?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I still think,
But-
Dan, I still think you need to get one of these to bring all your stuff to work in the next time you go to the office.
Oh,
Everyone
my-
at
it's
CBC
my new-
with like their leather CBC bags, and you come in with a tactical baby diaper bag full of laptops and stuff.
The Deuce 2.0.
And one diaper.
Don't forget the
And one
Deuce.
diaper, yeah.
in one diaper.
An adult diaper, just in case.
I'm close. Getting there.
In case you get stuck behind a train.
Yeah. I do walk to work sometimes,
Sometimes if you're like me and you had a bad day, so you splurge on KFC chicken wings, it's a little touch and go the next day.
Chicken. I love chicken.
That was almost sensual.
I do love chicken so much.
You know what goes really well with chicken?
Ah,
course.
here it comes.
We always have to thank our OG sponsors, the Pile of Bones Brewing Company. So before we get into the bulk of this program and actually talk about some football for a change, I guess we'll start with the guest of the program, Mr. Dan Plaster. What's in the glass this week?
I have a nice bourbon. I needed to be a little bit aggressive for this one tonight.
Fair.
Right.
It's an Elijah Craig. It's a little bit of a cheaper bourbon, but it does the trick. It's delicious.
That sounds delightful.
So now, my heart.
So now I should give the disclaimer that my beer choices. Lacey's officially on mat leave, and one of the biggest savings in the budget is my craft beer choices. So my beer choices are going to be a little bit more plain. So if you like cheap, you're going to go on a year-long cheap local beer adventure with John Fraser. The first one, and actually high praise on this one, is the Brewhouse Ultra. Unlike most other low-carb, low-calorie beers, they're not trying to gouge you. I think it was on sale $23 at Sobeys Liquor for 15 cans. It is non-offensive. It is local. And I had 5 or 6 before and after a hockey game last night and feel fine. So it is also not loaded with preservatives. So Brewhouse Ultra from Great Western, not terrible. I was pleasantly surprised.
Bringing endorsement if there ever was one.
Well, normally you see the name Brewhouse, and the last time I bought something by Brewhouse was to like play beer darts with because it's cheap. And so you see, okay, Brewhouse, but yeah, it's a win. It actually is a win. My expectations were low, and this significantly passed them. And don't worry, Joel, I will not, unless we want to do like a terrible tasting day, I will not stoop to the level of the brewery that shall not be named.
That's good. Because there's a good chance I might show up to your house if we're allowed to on Sunday with this summer pack that Shelter Brewing in Saskatoon just put out. Apparently you can pre-order this week, so I might do that since I'm actually going to be up there.
Fantastic.
Yes, it looks quite tasty. For me, I am sticking with the sponsors of this fine program, the Pile of Bones Brewing Company. I felt like I've been a bad sponsor, whatever it is, recently, as I haven't had a Pile of Bones brew on this podcast for a while. So I am drinking the one, the only, probably one of my favorite from them, the Red Ale. I know it's not really winter, it's not really fall, but it's hot as hell, and I still love it because it's just a fantastic beer, and I don't really have any other reason to drink it other than it's just damn tasty.
And like most large, hairy, sweaty dudes, you probably keep your house at a very nice, cool level. So it's really.
I am upstairs though, and it is a little warmer upstairs than it is downstairs.
Well, you just go tarps off, and then it would be, you'd really cool it down a little bit.
Okay, Ron McLean.
That is such a classic photo. Just rocking the air guitar, no tarp on. The best part is I have both my kids trained to say it's tarps off time when they take their shirts off.
Sun's out.
Guns out.
Heck yeah.
So finally, after 600 years, the CFL season is finally about to begin. Next week, we will finally see some games. We finally get to talk about some games, but before that, we're going to have a little fun here. Play a little game to sort of preview the season ahead. Fans of this podcast know that we are, at least myself and now Dan Plaster are fans of some college football podcasts. One of them is, of course, the Split Zone Duo, where they talk actual smart college football stuff, unlike the Shutdown Fullcast, where they don't talk about college football at all and talk about a lot of dumb stuff, which is kind of what inspires us.
It's really true.
Yes. So on the Split Zone Duo, they play a little game with regional restaurants for the different conferences that are basically, they serve hot food or they serve cold food. And is this take hot or cold? So we're going to play this game. I have a series of takes lined up here for all 9 teams in the CFL, plus a bonus one, and then we're going to go through some of the award odds from our friends at Bodog Canada there as well, just to kind of see if anyone thinks the leading candidate may actually win that award or not. Okay. So, unless there's any objections, the restaurants I have chosen in choice. So if you believe the take I am saying is hot, aka true, you will call it Bon Temps Cafe out of Saskatoon.
Oh, that is such a good place.
As they have the Firebird there, which is, of course, a red-hot dish that is also quite delicious.
Oh, so good. I could go for a po' boy right now.
Yeah. And if you believe
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, great place.
Yeah. Or if you believe the take is cold like Dandy's ice cream here in Regina.
Boom. I love it.
Then, of course, that's false. Not saying Dandy's is false, it's just they serve cold food, and that's where the cold take comes in.
I like it. I like it. So
Okay, rules are
Danny's
clear.
Ice Cream
Rules are clear. Okay.
or Bon Tom.
Yeah.
Bon Toms. All right. Perfect.
So we'll start west, go east, kind of, a little bit. We'll start with the BC Lions. Even with an improved offensive line, quarterback Michael Riley proves to have lost a step and is actually a problem now for the BC Lions.
Oh, I am going to go Dandy's Ice Cream on that. I think Michael Riley is a great quarterback, will continue to be a great quarterback, and the pandemic giving him a year off after like the absolute shit kicking that guy took in his first season with BC is one of the best things. He's not regression old. I think, you know, had he started with if this was his first year with BC, he might actually be able to stay upright this year. So I'm going to say that is a cold take. I think Michael Riley could lead the West in passing yards if they can keep him off his rear end. And if not, then Nathan Rourke, Canadian, might end up dying behind an offensive line.
That's a little hot take in there.
I got to sneak it in a little. Like legitimately, I'm not gonna lie. You might have heard me typing. I was not typing anything football related. I was typing the Bon Thompson menu.
Fair enough. Dan?
Oh, God.
Tough one to start, eh?
It is. You know what? I'll go Bon Tom. Because is it too much of a layoff for an old man? It's like he has had the holy heck beat out of him, and part of it's his fault. He doesn't get rid of the ball. He is a gunslinger till the day his football career ends, and that's the way we love them, and that is why he will be one of the most beloved players ever in the CFL. But man, he has to be careful this year. Yes, it's only a 14-game schedule. Yes, he could probably beat his brains in through this one, but I'm on that one. I don't think he'll make it through the year.
A lot of guys at that age just fall off a cliff, and I could see it happening. I think we may look back on his career at one point and see the signs were maybe there in Edmonton when they kind of struggled a little bit, and then he went to BC and it kind of just went downhill a little bit from there. It was just masked maybe by some other problems. The Calgary Stampeders. This is going to be a real hot one here, guys. The streak continues, and Calgary actually finishes first in the West.
Oh boy,
Bon Tom's on that one. They're my Grey Cup out of the West.
Okay.
I'm thinking again, Dandy's Ice Cream, because I think Winnipeg places ahead of them, and that I've got Winnipeg winning the West only because they basically brought back their whole team, and I'm hoping that Zach Caleros doesn't fall apart.
Okay, don't talk about Winnipeg too much. We still have to get to them.
That's fair.
But by the streak continuing, I mean they're still very good, so you can believe that they're not going to win they may not finish first in the West. They could, and wins the West could also still mean going to the Grey Cup. So either way, but just they continue to be a very dominant team, regardless.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that assessment. Now, I mean, it's rare for a player to basically come out and hearing Bo Levi Mitchell basically come out and say, "Yeah, I got nobody here, but that's okay. We'll figure it out." Like it's kind of a weird comment to come from a quarterback that's like, I know it's like Bo Levi being confident and being Bo Levi going, "Yeah, throw anybody out there, I'll make them great," kind of thing. And I love the confidence. I am a huge fan of Bo Levi Mitchell's confidence and swagger. I think it's a big part of what makes him great, an all-time great. But I don't know. He's always had at least one or two guys that you know he could count on, and then he found a way to slowly make everybody else around him great. I think they're still going to be good. I think they are still a playoff team. I don't have them winning the West, though. I have them at the playoffs. I have them being very good. So, Ryan Ballantyne, please don't come knock my door down and come and debate me for the next 10 hours and be angry. But that's Dandy's Ice Cream to me.
Well, congrats to Calvin McCarty on now becoming a 1,000-yard receiver this year.
Fraser curse right there.
Up the road in Edmonton, for the record, I'm thinking I'm starting to lean towards the Plaster. I think Calgary's going to finish first in the West. I'm not 100% sure yet at this point if they're going to get to the Grey Cup, but just the way things are shaking down in the West, I don't know if it's going to be as strong as people think it's going to be. In Edmonton, up the road, there's been some disgruntled vets there. Of course, a lot going on with Derek Dennis and the way Kenny Stafford was run over by a bus on the way out the door.
Yep.
Proves something is up, and the Edmonton Elks have a very rocky season.
Bontemps for sure. I think Jason Moss, although bombastic, may have been a bit of a scapegoat for a organization that clearly has some deep problems in team culture. It's just, if you read what the guys are kind of coming out with on social media after Stafford got run over by the bus and Derek Dennis, and what a lot of players are basically saying is, same old Edmonton, things have changed, new name, Moss is gone. At least originally Moss was your scapegoat, and you thought, oh, Jason Moss could potentially be not the right kind of temperament to be a head coach, but to see this continue, gotta think it runs a little deeper. So that's absolutely Bontemps. I think it explodes, and I think we're going to have guys that want to get out. You're going to have it's just going to be, as I love to watch the hockey team out of Edmonton fail because of old hockey men and terrible decisions, I will probably take some joy in the football team failing and watching the old football scribes, who I have publicly stated before I'm not a giant fan of, try to write their way out of this one with their buddies in the Old Boys Club.
I too am also Bontemps, and I think it's even deeper than that. Now, as teams really had to clean house because of the pandemic, Edmonton did as well, and they did an extra fine job cleaning house, top to bottom, especially that administration staff and the top side of things. And it's going to be interesting what kind of culture they're building. And this is like a first step in rebuilding whatever they're trying to build. And this is not a great first step, especially from our 5,000 foot perspective, but this is something that every team is going to go through, is kind of how they're going to rebuild their organizations. And if this is any indication of how things are going up in Edmonton, this is going to be truly spectacular and incredibly fun to watch in my own sick mind.
That's really all
I
that matters
love
at
it.
the end of the day.
As long as I can be entertained by people like watching another team implode that's not my favorite team or the team that we talk about, oh yeah, bring it on. Like just I'm like that gif of the man grabbing the popcorn bag and just starting to eat some popcorn as you watch shit hit the fan.
Oh, if you're gonna lose, make it messy and problematic.
I always like to say, if you're gonna suck so bad that everyone remembers.
Yes, make it epic.
Absolutely. But good luck to Evan, the new PR guy. He seems like a good dude, and we like him.
Great dude.
great dude, and does a fantastic job. And go Evan, and good luck, friend.
Yeah,
Godspeed to you.
We are all thinking of you, Evan. We are all make sure you drink lots of craft beer. It's the only thing that'll keep you sane.
Here in Saskatchewan, the Riders don't host a playoff game for the first time in 2 played seasons.
I'd say Bontemps. And the reason, but I'm wavering. The only reason I waver a bit on that is from this podcast's least favorite sideline reporter came a report that the CFL may be looking at loosening restrictions for vaccinated players as early as 2 weeks from now. I think that would potentially bring Brendan Labatt back. That would give them suddenly some O-line depth. That would keep Cody upright for the season and give him a chance to, repeat, a little Jesus sprinkles corn dog magic. That's the only reason I think that might be a bit of a dandy's ice cream. But if that doesn't happen, I don't think that O-line is good enough.
Yeah.
We both, and I'm assuming all three of us, really are high on Cody Fajardo and him as a person. And you're rooting for the guy because he just seems like a good guy. But second year as a starter, basically no O-line in front of you. It could be tough, at least until the new pieces like Logan Furland and gets settled in onto that O-line. So I see the Riders potentially starting slow and maybe not recovering enough to host a playoff game, but I still would have them as a playoff team. That does change to me, though, if the CFL does follow suit and allows a guy like Brendan Labatt to basically pull up, by God, there's Brendan Labatt's music.
Dandies. I think they're going to play second. It's going to be a messy second. This is going to be another one of those 9-5, 8-6, 8-6. Just debacle, especially with 14 games.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and no preseason.
No, and this is going to be one of those years that somebody's going to go 0-5 at the beginning of the year and finish 9-5, and somebody's going to go 5-0 and finish 5-9. This is going to be incredibly messy, and I think the Riders will finish second in behind Calgary.
I was going to say you had Calgary first, so
yeah. No, I did, and there's just something with the way Craig Dickinson has done something with this team. The football side of things of the Saskatchewan Roughriders is in good hands. Like this is like calm, no leaks, players buy in, and that's half the battle. If you have a decent culture and players like coming, unless you're LJ McRae and you can't find him wherever you are, LJ. Hello, LJ.
Do they try carrier pigeon? I feel like that's an old go-to.
I don't know. It's like trying to find somebody for the Riders Plaza of Honor. Where is he? I don't know. We can't get him over the border to induct him. Find another inductee. Anyways.
Or the one that possibly should be inducted this year is too busy praising Jesus and hating science.
There's others. I still think Roy Shivers should be inducted. I think Danny Barrett should be inducted.
Yes, absolutely.
Other conversation you can invite me on later in the year.
That's
Anyways,
a different convo for a different day.
Yes. But I just think there's enough consistency, even with I think Logan Ferland's going to be a star. There's a hot take. We'll put that on there where we'll start with that hot take. I think Logan Ferland's going to be a star. It is going to take us some time, but I think the Riders are going to be one of those 1-4 starts, turn it around, and end up placing second because it's just a messy season.
Dan, you've either negated the Fraser curse, because I've been high on Logan Ferland for years, or you've doubled it down, and the poor kid is popping in both ACLs tomorrow.
Don't say that. Poor guy.
But I feel like if I say it, it's not going to happen. I've been high on Logan Ferland since I was doing play-by-play for the Saskatoon Hilltops. Like, he's just the kid's a stud, and he's balling at camp, and I've been high on him, and I'm so nervous to Fraser curse him that when I praise him, I almost feel like, okay, somebody's got to be out there to yin and yang, and I'm hoping that's what you just did, Dan Plaster.
And he just works so hard in the off season.
Yes.
Okay. Well, enough for the love for Logan Ferland. We'll walk away. Go Logan.
I'm with John. I think the O-line is going to be a problem. I think they'll finish third. Taron Vaughn at left tackle is the big question mark that kind of keeps them out of hosting a playoff game this year. In Winnipeg, the defending Grey Cup champs. A year off does
say that again?
No. A year off does Zach Collaros good, and he actually plays most of the season.
It pains me to say this as a Winnipeg Blue Bomber fan, but I think that's a Dandy's ice cream.
So wait. So you think Zach Collaros is not going to play a lot, but they're still going to be good?
No. He won't make it through healthy. So he'll still play a lot.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he has to play every game, just whatever you consider most of the season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, I think he plays 10 games this season. Would that make it a Bon Tomps?
Yeah, I would consider that most, and you can say that's Bon Tom.
Okay, so I would say that's Bon Tomps. I think the year off has helped him. I think Winnipeg, even if Andrew Harris isn't there, is still going to go run heavy. They're going to know to protect him. I mean, realistically, what OC knows better on the value of being protected more than Buck Pierce? That guy was basically the Spanish announce table of the CFL for a lot of years.
Craig Butler anywhere? Anyone see Craig Butler?
Right? Oh, God. I still remember being at a Labor Day and being way too many beers deep, sitting on the opposite side of, the opposite end zone that he was in, and watching his arm bend and go, yeah, he's done. It was that gruesome. So I think Buck Pierce knows how to keep Collaros upright. I do still think, any veteran player, especially a veteran quarterback, I still see him missing 2 to 4 games, but as I said, I have the Bombers finishing first. I think if Harris can't go, Augustine is a underrated talent that all the fancy Derek Taylor stats say could just be his natural replacement. So if he has some trace amounts problems again, there won't be an issue. So I think he plays most of the games. I've got him down for like 10 games, 2 to 3, some sort of like lower body injury. Can't call it lower body anymore because of the gambling. But some sort of relatively minor injury. It's not like he's going to be concussed and have to eat his soup with water wings for the rest of his life. I think the Bombers will keep him safe.
I'm also Bontemps, but it's cold in the middle. I think Collaros will play most of the season, but not be great. I think this is a team that will be third in the West. And I think the tools around him will be the reason why they end up making the playoffs in spite of how he plays. And I love Buck Pierce. My favorite thing was going to the now, thank goodness, defunct Press Box Sports Bar here in Regina and watching Buck Pierce play Buck Hunter. It was a great thing. Probably should have played against him. But anyways, that's kind of where I'm on John's track, just a little bit of on a different set of rails.
Yeah. I didn't really attach any whether they're good or not to it, so he can play most of the season and they could suck too, and that would still be a hot take. So yeah, I think he's going to play a bunch too, and I think Winnipeg's going to finish second in the West, so it's a little bit of both there. Over to the East, Ottawa. This is one short and simple. They aren't good. Any disagreements?
No. Bontemps, that is correct. Dominic Davis is going to be their starting quarterback. They are a dumpster fire on the field. No disagreement. They are terrible.
Over under 3.5 wins.
Under.
Oh, spicy.
14 game season. You got Montreal, who's improving, Hamilton, who's runner-up of the Grey Cup, Toronto, who's improving, and Ottawa, who's getting worse. I wouldn't be surprised to see 0-14.
Oh, yes. That's nasty. Love it.
That is a po' boy with extra hot sauce right there.
Speaking of the rest of those teams, Toronto, the team of free agents figures it out late for a push in October and November into the playoffs.
Bontemps all day long. They're already starting to release some guys. Tyrell Sinkfield was released today, but I think when you bring in that many new pieces, football is such a hard game to grow. If they had a preseason, I think they might finish first in the East. They don't really have a lot of time to really figure everything out. So as Dan mentioned, somebody's going to start 0-5 and reel off 9 in a row. I think the Argos have the potential to do that if they can sort it out. So I'm going to say Bontemps. I'm high on the Argos this year, but I was also high on the New York Rangers when they hired, the Colorado Avalanche when they signed Paul Kariya and Teemu Selanne and proceeded to be a shit show.
The East is another 2-team race. Oh boy. I don't know where to go on this one other than just a first-year head coach, Nick Arbuckle, how has he been in camp? Like, all you hear is just bad things.
Yeah.
Like, it's just been, and McLeod Bethel Thompson, oh gosh.
Listen, as the one man with a Ryan Dinwiddie Bombers jersey, I got to be high on them. He's my boy.
I have a Ryan Dinwiddie Riders jersey.
No,
not. I do not. No, not a Dinwiddie. I have who do I have? 8. Give me a second. Talk, Vamp. I'll find it when you guys talk in a second.
Okay, I legitimately thought we just about became best friends because if you had a Ryan Dinwiddie Rider jersey and I could pair with my Ryan Dinwiddie Bomber jersey, that would be perhaps the greatest photo of all time. And we're both sexy as fuck, so there's
we would fill those jerseys out incredibly.
Eat your hearts out, the Wandering Glens.
Yes.
The Wandering Dinwiddies. I wonder if we could find a Dinwiddie and I think we'd have to find, didn't he play in Calgary for a bit too?
Yes.
Okay, So we'd have to find a Dinwiddie in Calgary and then somebody dressed up like a football coach. Wandering Dinwiddies. It's going to be a thing at the next Grey Cup in Regina.
I do think Toronto is going to make the playoffs for reasons why we'll get to in a little bit in one of my extra takes as to why I think there's going to be, the East will seem a little closer than it is this year because of it. Montreal, Vernon Adams Jr. takes a big step forward for the Alouettes as they easily finish second in the East.
Oh, Bontemps all day. I've got them as my second place team in the East.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree with that too. I think they have made some steps forward. Love Kahari. It's they're just a fun team. I mean, just an overall top to bottom fun team. And if there's a team that you like, I think it's going to be one of those weird things that yes, they will finish second, and it's going to be a super sketchy East final for Hamilton. They're just going to be fun to watch. Pure and simple. Hopefully fans come out and watch them in Montreal. One of the weirdest fan bases. When they're on, they come, and when they're off, they just don't at all.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty easy one. I'm with that as well. I think Vernon Adams Jr. has star potential in this league and could really reinvigorate the CFL across Quebec and not just in Montreal. And last but not least, the Hamilton Tiger Cats. They win the 2021 Grey Cup at home in December, ending the longest host streak and winless streak.
Dandy ice cream, because I'm reverse cursing the Blue Bombers again and saying the Bombers will beat the Tiger Cats in a Grey Cup rematch. It won't be as ugly as the last one, but yes, reverse Fraser curse. The Bombers are winning and beating the Tiger Cats, who will be in the Grey Cup game.
Bontemps, Grey Cup winners, finally getting over that hump after so many finals appearances. It's about time. Orlando Steinauer, former Fresno State defensive coordinator. There you go. And I think
well done. Yes.
Yes. And I think it's their time, and that's kind of a really good first championship after the pandemic for the CFL.
Yeah, I think there's just too many pieces in Hamilton. I think they're clearly the class of the league this year. They were last year and in 2019 as well. I think with the way the schedule is set up this year, it's going to be such a dogfight in the West that team's going to be more exhausted than normal. And there's just no reason why they shouldn't. So maybe because of that they won't. But I really believe there's just too many pieces there. They've stuck to the plan too long. They haven't overreacted to any of their failures yet. And it is eventually going to pay off for them. And I think that is this year. Okay, a little extra one I got here. There is no crossover thanks to the unbalanced schedule, and the CFL should keep the unbalanced schedule going forward after this season.
I like the crossover. I do.
Well, the crossover rule, it still exists. It's just because the East teams play each other more, it kind of inflates their record a little bit, right? Because there's more wins between them. They're not being slaughtered by the West every year in the standings like they have been in the past.
Right. And with Edmonton going to be a dumpster fire, and Ottawa going to be historically like Ottawa Renegades levels of bad. Yeah, I would Bontemps that. I think things are going to be pretty straightforward in terms and I think we're all kind of in agreement that we've each got our top three of being Calgary, the Riders, and Winnipeg, and Toronto, Hamilton, and Montreal in some order. So no, I don't see anybody surprising. I don't think Edmonton or BC are good enough, and Ottawa sure as hell isn't good enough.
I ditto that Bontemps. And two things: Ryan Dinwiddie, former Boise State Bronco, and I do have a Ryan Dinwiddie jersey in my hands.
Yes, you do.
I do.
Team best friends. Okay.
It is a number 8 Ryan Dinwiddie with the old black shoulder Saskatchewan Roughrider jersey. Boom. There you go.
Unbelievable, Dan Plaster. I now think when we do the live rendition of this podcast that we've been talking about now for 2 years at Pile of Bones in Regina, we are starting the Traveling Dinwiddies, the only two guys in Western Canada. Oh my God, I love it. Like I legitimately feel like we might have just become best friends.
It's incredible.
Like,
love it.
Oh man,
my heart is full. We were supposed to be grumpy on this. This sucks.
It says
I don't care. The fact that another human being owns a Ryan Dinwiddie jersey is like I feel like I've just found my soulmate. Football soulmate, Dan Plaster.
I don't even know how I got this. I think it still has the tags on it.
Unbelievable. That is
Bad Cat.
That is unreal.
Can't read this.
I'm also in favor of the unbalanced schedule going forward. For the record, I think it just helps with sort of, and even if you have to change the number of games, most of us on this podcast are in agreement the season's too long anyway. So
Yes.
if you have to shorten it to have more games within your own division versus and you only play the only other division once every year or something, especially when they get to 10 teams, then it makes a whole lot of sense, and it stops the East from looking like a doormat all the time when the records are more, sort of in line with each other every year.
Right. And I kind of like that sense of intrigue. I enjoyed it in the NHL playoffs this year that you don't see the other team that much, so you don't know what to expect, so it's harder to predict. So I'm also very Bontemps on that, just like I am Bontemps on Dan Plaster's Ryan Dinwiddie jersey.
Yes, Bontemps all the way.
All right, so before we go, we're going to go through some of the awards here for the odds, thanks to our friends at Bow Dog Canada, and whether we think the leader is actually going to end up, sort of the safest quote-unquote bet to win is going to win that award or not. Starting with most outstanding Canadian. Right now, the leading candidate as of not too long ago is Argos linebacker Hinoc Muamba.
I would only say Dandy's Ice Cream because I think that you'll have a Canadian receiver that'll have a great offensive season, and that'll be the focus. It seems the voters go from 6 to midnight over yards more than tackles. I mean, Hinoc will have a performance worthy of it, but I don't think he'll win the award. I wouldn't put my money on that.
Yeah, also Dandy's a defensive player. Oof.
There's a lot of defensive players on this list right now. So it goes Hinoc Muamba plus 150. Cameron Judge, plus 160. Andrew Harris, plus 225.
Yeah, no,
that's not a good bet right now. Lamar Durant, plus 1,200. So there's a pretty big gap there. Corey Greenwood, plus 1,500. Kwake Boateng, plus 1,200. Jake Burt, plus 2,000. And Cleon Lang, plus 2,000. Those are sort of the leaders right now to win outright.
You know what
What happened? That's a dearth of... Oof.
Part of it is I don't know. Like this is one of those awards that's always kind of weird every year. Like there's always someone that kind of just jumps out of nowhere. Because I'm with John. There's probably going to be a receiver that might be here in Saskatchewan that has a breakout year and gets the votes.
And it's just I'm on the site right now because I honestly think Johnny Augustine is going to be the guy to Winnipeg. I think Harris is hurt. I think you're going to see how good he is, and I wish I could put money on it, but I can't find him, or I've had enough lucky bastard that I don't know how to work a gambling site right now. One of the two.
And then I was looking at the last 20 years of this award, and only 5 defensive players have won it, and Brent Johnson won it twice, Ricky Foley, and then Enoch Muamba. That's messy. But of course,
unless the odds makers believe what we kind of believe, that the offense is going to be so shitty to start this year that defense kind of takes over this year.
Bet the under, like you said.
Yeah, bet the under early. Based on what we saw at the green and white game, bet the under early.
Yes.
Speaking of defense, right now at plus 160, the leader outright to win, according to Bow Dog, is for the best defensive player, Simone Lawrence.
I'd Bontemps that. Simone's a great player on a great team, and bet the under to start the season. I'd Bontemps that.
Man,
this is a hard one. This is always a hard one too,
right?
Yeah,
I mean they're all hard, really.
But that's just so out of. I mean, you know what? Dandies. I'll take the field.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's a good field. I mean, I can't blame you.
The rest of the field, according to Bow Dog right now, Willie Jefferson plus 200. Might be some decent value there. Hinoc Muamba, obviously, if he's obviously expected to win top Canadian, according to them, he should be in top defensive player as well. Plus 250. Charleston Hughes plus 350. And TJ Lee at plus 500.
Oh, wow.
That's one kind of out of right field.
Yeah.
And maybe it will come as the season goes on, but I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things that after a couple of games, you're going to see a guy emerge that is going to be that like dark horse favorite. I wish I could spend all of my Matt Leave money on this right now. Screw the stocks. I want to make obscure bets on CFL players.
Well, this sounds like a Bontemps or a Dandies. What do we really know?
Oh, we know nothing.
Well, we know nothing about anything.
Right? Are you talking about this podcast or like
no? We're brilliant. Like let's just keep it right there. But I mean, just in general, like what do we know? I mean, 25%
absolutely
of the league,
nothing.
Yeah, like is it 25 to 35% of the league isn't back from 2019, maybe more? I mean, you have 2 full Canadian classes coming in. I think that's a part of it. Why you don't have many Canadian players. It's just wild. I don't know. It's gonna be a fun season. I'm just
Absolutely
pumped.
It's gonna be chaos, and we love chaos on this podcast.
Yes,
messy,
always chaos. And last but not least, of course, most outstanding player. The leader in this, probably because it'll get people to bet. Cody Fajardo plus 200.
That's a tough one. Okay, just so I don't Fraser curse him, I'm going to say that's Dandy's Ice Cream. Just because I feel like if I have said enough nice things about Cody Fajardo and Jesus Sprinkles and Corn Dogs, and the fact I think I have a little bit of a man crush on him, much like I used to on Ryan Dinwiddie. I got to take the field. Just not Cody has the potential to do it. I got to take the field to not curse the poor man.
I'll go Dandies. And what's the odds on Vernon Adams Jr.?
He's not on here.
What? That's another one. I feel like a card of Johnny Augustine, Vernon Adams Jr. is like it's basically as good as holding GME stock right now.
Yeah. So outright for most outstanding player they have listed here, Bo Levi Mitchell's next. Plus 300, Willie Jefferson plus 300, Enoch Mwamba plus 350, Brandon Banks plus 400, Michael Riley plus 600.
That's stupid.
So we'll add one more here then, because this does include Vernon Adams Jr. just for passing yards leader, because I would go with Dandies on Cody Fajardo just because I think for as much, he was good in 2019, but had the, every other quarterback in the league not got hurt, he would not have been the passing yards leader, and his season wouldn't have seemed as impressive in retrospect. If that had happened, he'd have been a good quarterback kind of coming out, but not necessarily, the star of the league like he kind of became that year because of the injuries to Bo Levi Mitchell, Trevor Harris, and Michael Riley.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I do think that it is going to be very bon temps that Vernon Adams Jr. leads the league in passing yards.
Okay, so you already answered that one. So the last one, passing yards leader. Right now, Cody Fajardo is the leader at plus 190. We already know where John stands on this. So Dan?
Yeah, I'm with it's Vernon Adams. He'll win the passing title.
So what do you think his line's at right now?
He's probably, based on the fact that they're going with seemingly names over anything, I'm gonna put him he's probably plus 600 right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say plus 5.
Okay, pretty close. Plus 625 is what he's at right now.
Aha, closest to without going over. I win the showcase.
$1.
So yeah, Fajardo's at 190, Bo Levi Mitchell 250, Jeremiah Mazzoli 625. Then it gets out of order here for some reason. But anyway, McLeod Bethel Thompson 725, Michael Riley 725, Trevor Harris 300, as mentioned, Vernon Adams 625, and if you really want to get funky, Zach Caleros 1200, and Matt Nichols 1600.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not a thing. I'm like, that would take some sort of a miracle and miracle shoulder surgery, but I love that Vernon Adams bet at 625.
That's good value at that. I would say at 625, that jumped off of me. That's actually good. That's pretty good value there, I would say.
Yeah.
Even Mike, I mean, if we're wrong about him being potentially done, Michael Riley at plus 725, which is funny that they have him in the most outstanding player bracket, but they give Vernon Adams better odds of passing for more yards.
Well, that's exactly, like, I'm just like, yeah, I wish there was more names. Like, I feel like I'm seeing an opportunity to potentially make money with terrible bets that I'm sure will backfire. But I'm like, I wish I could get in on this. I wish there was more players you could list. Maybe I just don't know how to work the site, but
it's possible.
Do they have the individual games up yet?
They have the regular season wins. So, I mean, Ottawa, we're all taking the under. Like the Ottawa under, so the under 3.5 is only paying, it's only at 105.
Oof.
That's, even the odds makers hate you, Ottawa.
It seems only the CFL season props are up at this point. No game lines yet.
Nice.
Time to be degenerate gamblers.
Hey, Jacques Cartier. Show's over.
Save on O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner. Get 2 cans of O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner for just $8. Valid in-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly.